All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal Emac coming to you on a Saturday, an NFL Saturday, the first game underway right now of Super Wild Card Weekend. But we're going to be looking at the association. We have a 6-game slate tonight tipping off at, let's say 7 o'clock, the normal time. Got a couple games at 7, one at 7:30, one at 8, one at 9. And then one at 10. So we've got a nice expansive slate. Lots of pending news at the moment, especially with the last 2 games. Plenty of players questionable. We're going to talk some game theory, joined by Ryan. You guys know him best as Rynpak. Hello, good sir. Let everybody see your background. It's the high-flying high-rise life. What's going on, my man?
No, it's just some association talk in the midst of Super Wild Card Weekend. It's kind of a dry NBA slate, another Saturday slate. You never know what can happen on these slates, especially with players taking the night off type of situation. But here to talk about a nice little small Saturday slate.
Yeah, this one is going to be interesting. We have, let's look at some of the later games here. We have listed currently as questionable Christian Wood as well as Damian Lillard. That is our nightcap. That is the 10 o'clock game. Both these teams, well, they're going to run this back tomorrow in Portland again. So we'll have to see what happens there. We know that Dallas tends to rest some of their key players on back-to-backs. Does that mean Luka tonight? Does that mean him tomorrow? Well, stick around. We'll try to find out. You've got Lauri Markkanen, who is questionable in the 9 o'clock game, along with Tobias Harris. That's as Philly takes on Utah. This is a back-to-back for Utah. Philly plays tomorrow in Los Angeles. So we'll see what happens there. Georges Niang was added to the injury report with an illness, so wouldn't be a surprise if he's out. And then scooting back to our earlier game, we do have most of our moving parts here accounted for. That would be Memphis at Indiana. We have Memphis favored by 8 on the road. We know that Indiana is very shorthanded tonight, and they're going to be our best source of value. So let's buckle up. Let's kick back. Let's talk a little basketball here. Hit that like button. We do appreciate that. The subscribe would be even better as we cruise towards 86,000 subscribers. We got almost 600 people watching now. I'm going to hit the like button. Let's get that on up to 100. That'll be a lot of fun. Ryan, let's look at our first game here. We've got Memphis, as I mentioned, in Indiana. Indiana is going to be without Tyrese Halliburton for a little while. We've got Miles Turner. Let me check. Yep, he is still out. This will be the 3rd game he's missed with back spasms. You've got Aaron Nesmith, who is in. He has a non-COVID related illness. O'Shea Brissett is in. He was dealing with the hamstring injury. This is a back-to-back as well as a 3 and 4 for Indiana. They lost last night 113-111 to Atlanta. On the other side, the visitors are going to be without John Conchar. And then we do have Dylan Brooks downgraded to doubtful with a sore ankle. And there was one other, Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark's actually in after missing the last 6 games with a sore hip. So take us through this, because this looks like where we could get some backcourt and frontcourt value courtesy of the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I know. We just also got word that Dylan Brooks has also been just ruled out. So some available wing minutes in Memphis over there tonight against Indiana. Well, on the Memphis side of things, you're always going to look at Ja Morant. Ja Morant is definitely someone you can target. And now with no Dylan Brooks, there will be some usage that will spread around to the likes of Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. I have no objections if you want to get above the field on some of these Memphis players against this Indiana matchup. Steven Adams looks less appealing with Brandon Clark set to go. Adams was playing an extra rotation when Clark was gone, it felt like. So you can certainly, if you want to go back to Adams, you certainly can. We saw what Onyeka Okongwu did last night against this Indiana front court. Not saying that's a repeat performance for Adams, but it's going to be a low-owned center option slate. You can definitely take some chances there, but Morant, Triple J, and Desmond Bane, definitely have a ton of interest going to those guys. And what the wing minutes look like, it wouldn't shock me if we see some extra Tyus Jones minutes. I know Tyus Jones is not a certified wing or anything, but he can certainly share the backcourt with Morant, and Bane can shift up to the 3 type of situation there. Expect Zaire Williams to get some extra minutes against this Indiana team, and then the likes of Aldama and Roddy certainly can eat up some of those minutes against Indiana. But it's an Indiana matchup where you should definitely have some interest in Memphis kind of across the board here on all three sites, to be honest with you. Now, the Indiana side of things, it gets very, very interesting here. A lot of value going here. There's no Turner, there's no Halliburton. We saw Nemhard and McConnell look outstanding last game. I think you can certainly go back to them. Expect Nemhard to play, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 more minutes compared to McConnell. They roll out the same starting lineup. Aaron Neesmith is expected to play, so that might change things up a little bit. I think maybe he takes some of Duarte's minutes away. So I think that's certainly on the table, but keep an eye on Isaiah Jackson. He looks like a solid option. Ben Mathurin and Buddy Hield are going to soak up a lot of usage as Nemhard and McConnell are going to do the facilitating. So Mathurin, Hield, Jackson, this whole team from top to bottom looks outstanding. Certainly have some more interest in the starters, but you can certainly play McConnell kind of around the field type of situation. I think he did bail a lot of people out last time. I do think he was a bit over-owned for the projected minutes he had last night, but he still was solid. McConnell, dating back to his days in Philly, can fill up the stat sheet in a number of ways. I believe he holds the NBA record for most number of steals, which happened last season or 2 seasons ago when he was the Pacers. So look, the Pacers look outstanding. Ton of value across the board here. Willing to get above the field on a bunch of Pacers tonight. They make a lot of sense. Keep an eye on how those ownership projections evolve leading up to lock. You can definitely pick and choose your Pacer guys, but a bunch of these guys look the best. My preference would be Isaiah Jackson, Hield, Mathurin, and then Nemhard, but you can argue any one of those 4 type of situation. Expect those minutes to be there and expect their fantasy production to come with no Turner and no Halliburton tonight.
So how are you feeling about the front court here? Because we saw some foul trouble. We saw Smith went out after 4 minutes. He had 2 fouls. It was Isaiah Jackson that was looking strong. He still ended up the better play on the strength of 7 blocks, but all of a sudden Smith came roaring back in the second half, survived. I was choosing between the 2 of them on Yahoo, where they were each $10 or $11. So I was kind of having the eye on that. I had Smith. Tonight, I think I'm going with Jackson. We shall see. But what are you thinking about those guys? They are foul magnets. Do we get a hint of Goga Bitadze at all?
Oh, I don't think we get much Goga Bitadze. I do think we'll more likely see O'Shea Brissett before we see Goga Bitadze. I think Brissett is also going to be ready to go today. So that's how I look at it. I don't think we get much Bitadze. As intriguing as of a play Bitadze could be if he were to get high teens minutes, he's just, I don't think, going to be the rotation tonight. That can certainly change, but I mean, there's so many solid 4K and under players on this Pacers team, especially Isaiah Jackson, the flat 3K. Tough not to start your lineup there. I mean, if you want to lock him in your lineups tonight, look, the projected ownership is at 80 and 78% tonight. I certainly think you can make a case for that. And I think there's so many ways where he's going to be able to pay off that price tag, help you jam in the guys likes of Luka, Embiid are on the slate. There's other great studs, Tatum with no Brown. I mean, you're going to have to spend down somewhere. It makes a lot of sense to start with this Pacers team as the saving value options for tonight's slate.
All right, little trivia, because TJ McConnell tied for second with quite a few players with 10 steals.
Damn.
The guy who leads it has 11 from one of the all-time great Illinois teams. Can you name him?
What is this, the Illinois team that won the championship in 2003? I have no idea. Kendall Gill. You may have heard of him. I think he was a little before your time. Yeah, I don't know who is he related to Anthony Gill?
I don't believe so.
The only good college basketball player that I knew named Kendall was Kendall Marshall.
So let's see. Kendall Gill's actually older than I am.
That's old. Holy
That's
shit.
old. That's ancient. Made his NBA debut in 1990. He was a rookie the first year I played NBA DFS.
Wow.
Maybe it was the second year. I can't remember for sure. It was all blends back together way back in the day here. Oh, there we go. A couple people in chat. We're firing in here. I should have been looking there. Steve McGee says Kendall Gill. We've got Straight Cash Homie says the Flying Illini. Yes, that was one heck of a team. Emac struck no. Emac doesn't booze very often, if ever. So no, high on life. High on life. Kendall Gill with the left-hand stick. Yeah, he was a lefty. Like that. Grandmama. Now we're talking Larry Johnson. There we go. All the Gills are related. Ted Nugent. He's a 1970 model. 71 here myself. So it's good times. Fellow olds unite. Yes, Marcus Messiah says Kendall Gill with the high top box hairstyle. Yeah, he was a dapper fella. He was I think he was with the Sonics for a little while, if I remember correctly. There he had a couple seasons with them, but he did play for your Chicago Bulls, I think, at some point. Yeah, towards the end of his career. There we go.
I'm not a Bulls fan. You know that.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I'm a Pistons fan.
Oh, so it's all Detroit. It's straight Detroit then for you.
Yeah. It's tough to be a Lions fan, but I'm a fair weather Lions fan. It's tough, but yeah, no, I'm a pretty diehard Tigers fan and Pistons fan. I'm not gonna lie, playing DFS made me lose a lot of interest in my professional sports teams. I just kind of brushed that interest aside.
It is fair. All righty. That was a little fun trip down nostalgia, but we got a bunch of games left and we are on the clock. We are staying on for an extra 30 minutes. This is going to be brought to you by PrizePicks. So we'll talk a lot more about them when we do the bonus half hour. Turning things back around here for the Memphis side of things. They all look pretty good. 8.5 point road favorites, blah, 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 blowout risk, blah, blah, blah. We've seen too many shorthanded teams pull off miraculous things this year. Although on a back-to-back, that is a tall order here. How are you feeling about Memphis? Or would you rather save some of those high-flying dollar figures for some of the later games here, where we have some questionable statuses, but we could get some lower popularity?
Yeah, I definitely think it's worth taking your chances on some of these Memphis players. I definitely like going to a Ja Morant at that price tag at 6,800 on DraftKings. Makes a ton of sense. Sorry, not Ja Morant. Desmond Bane at 6,800. Desmond Bane 7,200 on FanDuel. Probably my favorite Memphis player to target. And then really everyone else is kind of tough to get to. Morant certainly looks like a solid option if you want to get there. I think it's like, with the fuel type of play in Ja Morant, based on the other studs on this slate and how simple it should be to jam in whatever stud you want with the Pacers value.
All right, let's get on to some exciting games here. People asking about your backdrop. Is that a backdrop? Is it a city? No, Ryan's just up high enough so he can look down on all of us. It's his world. We're living in it. That's sort of how we've got to approach this. Boston in Charlotte, taking on the Hornets. We have no Jaylen Brown. He's going to be out for about a week. Let's see if we have an update on old Brogdon here. He was away from the team for personal reasons. He will be available tonight, as is Al Horford. On the other side, of course, we were with the Hornets are going to be without Kelly Oubre Jr. It looks like Gordon Hayward doubtful, but he's not going to play. He looks like he's going to be out for at least another week or so. So we kind of know what we're getting here. You've got Tatum. When Brown is off the court since the beginning of last season, he is averaging, right around 1.4 fantasy points per minute. Hard to believe he is just 24. He is also averaging almost 50 fantasy points per game on the FanDuel scoring. I think he got there on DK. He's like half a point off on one or the other. So he's right around there, depending on which day you're looking at it. So he's kind of our first building block, shall we call it, that we're getting to. How are you feeling about Mr. Tatum here? We've got some solid minutes from Robert Williams. Didn't do a lot with them in his last game, but that could change quickly against a weak Charlotte front court. Talk to me about the C's.
Yeah, no Jaylen Brown tonight. That should open up extra usage. We saw Marcus Smart dial it in last game. I love going back to Marcus Smart tonight and Jason Tatum. I think both of those guys look outstanding. Robert Williams in a great spot against Charlotte. I'm skeptical what the minutes could look like. Keep an eye on that starting lineup, as Al Horford should play tonight. So that will change things up for sure. And I'm willing to get under the field on the Celtics front court, that being the likes of Horford, Grant Williams, and Robert Williams. While I'd be willing to take some more chances on guys like Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White instead, I think those minutes could certainly go up a little bit, and I think they have a higher upside in this spot against Charlotte. But Tatum and Smart, eons ahead by the rest of the team. Tatum should be on a 60-point fantasy watch against the Charlotte team. He's been outstanding. Expect Tatum to make another surge for the MVP consideration, as I believe Jaylen Brown's going to be out for, I think, 2+ weeks, 3 weeks. It wouldn't shock me if they just kind of shut him down until the All-Star break. It's an adductor issue, so non-significant. Damian Lillard dealt with that for some time, and then it really bothered him. Then he got surgery last year. Not saying Jaylen Brown's going to have that same issue, but I expect Tatum to make real strides. And I think by the time Jaylen Brown comes back, it wouldn't shock me if Jason Tatum's an 11-5, 11-6 player on FanDuel, maybe more like an 11-2, 11-3 player on DraftKings. He's already almost there. He should continue to crush. Tatum looks outstanding. He's on there, up there with likes of Luka and Embiid on the slate because of no Jaylen Brown.
All right. Quickly circling back here for a super chat. John Bryant is asking, can you play both Jackson and Smith in the same lineup on DraftKings? I would tend to avoid it. You are getting Jackson at 3,000. You are getting where Smith's at 3,600. They're going to last night anyway. They exactly split the center minutes. They were the direct backups, or they shared those minutes. They split all 48. When one came off, the other went on. So what that means is it's hard for either one to really exceed around 26 minutes. One of them's going to be on the shorter end of that with 22. Foul trouble could flip it one way or the other for either. We saw both of them pick up some fouls last night. The other thing you want to keep in mind is blocks are really going to be the differentiator for them. Can they get there? Yes. Would I set a rule to go against this? Probably not. But if I was building anything by hand, I would not have them both in the same lineup, is the way I would approach that. And that goes for all sites for me. Are you kind of on board with that, Ryan?
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I might disagree a little bit, just because it's a salary thing right here, right? So if that extra savings helps you jam in another stud, and it depends on who else you put in your lineup. I know that rule certainly makes sense, but I think I'm okay doing so because they're so cheap, right? They can both outperform your fantasy rate expectations in limited time. Yes, it's less likely. Yeah, there's some negative correlation there, but at the end of the day, it kind of comes into the price situation here. I certainly think both of them can pay that off, but also in your shoes, I have no issues if you make that decision also, but I'm in more favor. Like, it's okay if I get some lineups with both of them. I don't think I'll get many, but I think it's fine if you get some of the lineups together. And if that helps you jam into another stud, I'm okay with that type of build.
Here's another way of saying it. If we were playing head to head and you had both of them in your lineup, John Bryant, I would not laugh at you. I would just be like, oh boy, he's got an extra stud or another mid-tier player in there that I don't. Ooh, let's see how this one plays out. So to help answer your question sort of there, wouldn't be trying to get it, wouldn't be horrified if we got it. Anything back to Boston at Charlotte, anything else you would like to bring up for the Boston side here?
Play Tatum, play Marcus Smart, take some chances on the backcourt, less inclined to do so with the front court with Al Horford being back. Tatum looks outstanding tonight in the Charlotte spot.
Another one where we have an 8-point road favorite. We've got Philly at 6.5-point road favorites, Memphis at 8.5. The thing about Charlotte's, they're going to be bombing away from 3-point range with Mr. Ball and Mr. Remember Me, Scary Terry. What do you want to do here with Charlotte? To me, they feel like if I get one in a lineup, it's totally fine. I don't anticipate getting a lot of them. Boston still has incredibly good defense, team defense, scheme defense, one-on-one defense with Smart there. Time Lord back playing more than half the center minutes also creates some problems. So I'm not overly excited, even though the Charlotte is shorthanded. But we've seen everybody play. We've seen so many teams, as I mentioned before, play tough when they're shorthanded against top opponents here. That's not making me shy away from it, but some of the later games are a little juicier, I think, than the Charlotte matchup.
Yeah, so The Charlotte matchup against Boston, yeah, it's definitely not a great one, right? Going up against Boston, but I think there's some high upside guys in Ball and Rozier where currently they're getting sub 15% ownership on DraftKings and same likewise on FanDuel. I'm willing to get above the field on both of those players. I just think so much of their usage is sucked up there, and it's I think worth taking some shots. They certainly have tournament winning upside. You'll definitely love 40 fantasy points from Rozier, and he certainly has that in his bag. And LaMelo Ball can get you a sneaky double, and he's not getting those triple doubles like he was last year because Mason Plumlee is on a tear. I think they're trying to showcase him and trying to get some sort of trade value for him. He's now at 6,207K. I can't advocate going to Mason Plumlee. I know he's been awesome of late, but we kind of know who Mason Plumlee is by this point. So it's a center slate where Embiid's on there. I'm not that inclined to go to Plumlee, but Ball and Rozier look outstanding. With no Hayward, you can certainly sprinkle in McDaniels and Washington, but I don't have that much interest in going to them. If you want a long shot tournament pivot off of some Pacers value, Cody Martin could be your guy, but it might be a little too cute. The Pacers guys just seem so much better. So Plumlee situation, not that inclined. Getting above the field on guys like Ball and Rozier seem like the way to go tonight.
All right, real quick, everybody. Come on, hit that like button. We're almost at 200. That would be a fun little milestone here. We've got 1,200 of you in here. Let's celebrate Ryan's awesome background there, as we're all jealous as he overlooks Chicago. But reminder, you guys want to get some free Stokastic premium content? Well, all you got to do is go to stokastic.com/avatar, download the avatar, upload that onto your DFS side of choice, place top 3 in any contest with at least 5,000 people. That is first, second, or third. No ties unless it's a 3-way tie for first, meaning if you tie with 100 of your best friends in a showdown contest, that's not finishing top 3. So if you finish top 3 there, shoot a tweet with your screenshot and the Stokastic logo visible over to Stokastic HOF on Twitter, and we'll get you aired on our Stokastic promotions. You'll get to hear Lofty talking about how amazing you are, and you'll also get 30 free days of Stokastic premium content if you meet those parameters. But we celebrate all wins, large or small. So anybody who has a fun win that they want to share with everybody, send those tweets to Stokastic Hall of Fame. We're doing this for fun. It's always feels good to see other people finding success. So that is a good time to have there. Let's see here, Ryan. Do you want to quickly, we've got a super chat from Michael McKinney, his usual. He's looking for his 5 best FanDuel plays. I don't think we have any pending news that's really going to turn anything upside down right now. Do you want to run through what you're seeing as some of the better point per dollar plays? I'm guessing it's going to be heavy on the Pacers, and we did just cover them. So this is just a reinforcement spot.
Yeah, the FanDuel cash plays that stick out to me. And he wanted how many of them? 5
of them.
5 of them. Wow. The whole lineup pretty much. So Isaiah Jackson, Buddy Hield, and Anthony Simons look like the 3 places where I'm going to first. Then I'll look to Marcus Smart. And then I think Ben Mathurin falls in there. But for sure, Jackson, Hield, and Anthony Simons look the most appealing. Even the ownership indicates that as well. I have no issues also putting Ben Mathurin as well. And then jamming in a stud. Certainly Luka looks like a solid cash option every night when he's on the slate. So I think I gave you 5+ FanDuel's cash game options there. Definitely look to some Pacers to build out that cash game lineup, not just on FanDuel, also on DraftKings as well.
All right. And of course, remember, if you have any trouble with those promo codes, you can always reach out to Stokastic, support@stokastic.com, and they will get you squared away on those for these promotions. So there we are. Pretty easy to do. It's the one and only news god that is overseeing that support desk most days. Moving on to game number 3 here. That means we're almost at the halfway point, but not quite. We've got Atlanta up north of the border in Toronto, 231.5 implied point total here. Atlanta 7-point dogs. No Clint Capella. We've seen that for quite some time. He is still a good week away, if not more. We also have Bogdanovic was questionable. He is still questionable right now with the bruised thigh. Additionally, I think that is good for the Atlanta side. This is a back-to-back as well as a 3 and 4 for them. They did win in Indiana last night, 113-111. And then Toronto, They're all healthy? How is this possible? They always have at least three. They say, Miami, hold our beer. Let us show you how to do an injury report. They're all available now? Is Nick Nurse not grinding people into dust? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very under the radar game just because outside of Capella, there's not true injury news situation here. And everyone is coming in under the field. Pretty much low owned options on this slate across the board here. That's why they make for great tournament options. Over there in FanDuel, you can certainly play Siakam at 9,800. He's awesome. You can certainly put up 50 plus fantasy points in this spot. Like getting to Siakam. Then I like taking some chances on OG over there. I think OG at 7,100 certainly looks like a fine option. VanVleet 8,300, priced appropriately on FanDuel. While over there on DraftKings, it's kind of a different story. Not much ownership going here. Gary Trent 6,100, where you get the 3-point bonus, certainly makes sense. Then I like VanVleet at 7,900 over there. You expect a lot of minutes for this team. Yes, Achua is going to play some. Boucher is going to play some minutes, but everything else, expect mid to high 30s minutes consistently from the Raptors. And whenever they're going to play that many minutes, barring any foul trouble or injury, they all kind of have tournament upside. We saw Scotty Barnes have the eruption game first time in a long time. He had that eruption game. So definitely target Toronto here against this Atlanta team. Pick and choose your spots here. Like Siakam by far has the highest upside, and then probably VanVleet. But price specific, OG looks pretty solid on both sides as well.
All right. That's going to kind of cover the Toronto side here. Is there anything you want to call out from this one? Of all the games we have, this one looks like kind of the least appealing, aside from, can Okongwu have another amazing night? Is John Collins going to play more than 25 minutes? What happens with Trae Young on a back-to-back? He sometimes seems a little frail when he gets worn down here. Anything popping for you from the Atlanta side?
Yeah, the Atlanta team has been very weird this year, peculiar and more or less. As DeJounte Murray came out and said, there's been a lot of locker room issues that's kind of transpired off the court, and that's affecting their on-court play here. Everyone thought the addition of Murray, they're going to take the next step after they made the conference finals a couple of years ago. So Trae Young, 3-point bonus on DraftKings is going to be very low owned. I'm less inclined to get to this Atlanta team. They're on a back end of the back-to-back. If I was going to play a Hawk on DraftKings, it would probably be DeJounte Murray. Onyeka Okongwu might get that recency bias ownership. Not that excited to go to Okongwu. Over there in FanDuel, Trae Young looks like a much better play at 9,600. He's kind of like your LaMelo Ball pivot. And when you're spending that much money, you kind of just are looking at the other studs like Tatum and Embiid. DeJounte Murray at 8,200 certainly has that upside with him. One center option only, when you can only play one center on FanDuel. Onyeka Okongwu is a bit difficult to get to, so less inclined. John Collins is priced way too expensive. And everyone on this team, outside of is pretty expensive. I can't look at this team and pinpoint one guy in confidence that I think your results will land on him above the field. I think they're all priced appropriately. Kind of a fully healthy team. Yeah, I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders and looking elsewhere on this slate.
All righty, let's use the halfway point here to tell everybody quickly about, let's do a little bet MGM here, because this is how you can get 2 free months of Stokastic even more easily than you can, or far more easily than you can from the Stokastic Hall of Fame. All you got to do is be in a sports wagering legal site. When you create your account, you don't have to live in a sports wagering legal state. You just have to be in one. Remember when we could all go to Vegas, visit there, play the slots, bet on sports? That's how it works in the other states that have legalized sports wagering. So what you got to do is you need to be logged into your Stokastic account. You do not have to have an active subscription. Once you're logged in, you can either go to the description in any of our YouTube chats or our YouTube videos, like below us here, where you have the description in there. You'll see a whole bunch of links. One of them is for BetMGM. You click on that. That'll tag you with our referral code, send you on over to BetMGM. You can also click on any of the BetMGM buttons on the Stokastic, any of the Stokastic pages. Once you're over there, create your BetMGM account, put in $10. Wager said $10. Can't just do a money line wager. Don't worry about boosters or anything like that. Once it settles, they're going to give you a promo code that'll get you 2 free months of Stokastic premium content. It is as easy as that. A little promo code is going to pop up on your BetMGM screen, or at least it did on my computer. If you don't click it, don't worry. It's going to be in your BetMGM inbox. So you can go look at your messages there, and it's going to be saved there until you decide to use it. Reminder, the legal age for gambling in most states is 21. And if you know someone, or if you yourself have a gambling problem, do not be afraid to call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Every time I hear that, I think of Madonna and the song Gambler. That's going to date myself there just a little bit. Just a little bit. Cleveland at Minnesota. Questionable. Donovan Mitchell. Did we get any update on him? Is he still feeling a little under the weather with a non-COVID related illness? It does appear to be that way. Kyle Anderson, also questionable, as is Anthony Edwards. Anderson's questionable with an illness. He did play yesterday, as did Edwards, who was dealing with a sore hip. We did have Taurean Prince leave the game yesterday with an ankle issue. He is also questionable here. This is our first big piece of news, because if Donovan Mitchell is out, there's a whole lot of usage, field goal attempts, et cetera, to go around there for Cleveland. That is going to mean Darius Garland is one heck of a play. How do you want to approach Cleveland? What is your lean towards Mitchell playing or sitting?
I have no lean. I'm just going to go for 50-50, just like the injury report tells me to. No, I have no idea.
I want Rynpak's leans, likes, and locks here. Okay, you can't let Lindquist and Shander have all the fun. Let's see it. Let's see it.
So in this spot, I will more inclined with Donovan Mitchell playing. I just don't know. I mean, if he plays, he's a fine tournament option. If he doesn't play, let's play some Cavs type of situation. That being Garland specifically, you can certainly get above the field on Karis LeVert at 5,100. He'll look like a solid value play. And if we don't get this news before lock, a lot of these Cleveland guys are going to be under-owned just because the nature of how people build their lineups and a lot of ownership going to the Indiana game, that being the first game on the slate. So if you want to take a gamble on Mitchell not playing, you can certainly hand build your way to some Cavs, that being LeVert, Darius Garland. Even Evan Mobley looks like a place where you can certainly go to. So it's a great tournament spot for this Cavs team. Now, if Mitchell plays, you can certainly play Garland. I think Garland has an upside at 7,900 as is. So I think it's a spot where I'm going to be willing to get above the field on this Cleveland team and hope if there's an injury situation to take advantage of, I'll be ready to go. But if not, I'll have to pick and choose some spots. There's some great games at the rest of the night as well where I can swap onto. So giving yourself some sort of lineup flexibility for this Cleveland situation will certainly find a way to pay off if Donovan Mitchell is out. So also just want to circle back on the Boston situation. They're going to start both Al Horford and Robert Williams. And now hearing that, I'm willing to play some more Robert Williams than first I intended. I think it's a great Charlotte spot. I would rather play Robert Williams than Onyeka Okongwu or Mason Plumlee. I'm willing to take some chances with Rob Williams, and as those minutes go up, I certainly think Rob Williams on FanDuel, where you get those blocks bonus, certainly can pan out. I think Jared Allen is a fine center option as well, coming in at 6K on DraftKings. So it's tough to iron out this Cleveland situation until we get the Donovan Mitchell news, which is going to be pretty important on this slate, because I do think LeVert and Garland become excellent value options.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was mentioning on the other games, especially the Memphis one. Do you want to wait? You're going to get a potential bit of a discount on the popularity for the players in this game. It could break our way. It may not. Looking at the Cleveland schedule, they last played on Thursday. They play again on Monday. So this is kind of an island game for them. They are heading back home after this one. So hard to really, read and see what's going to happen there with Mitchell. But we'll probably get this game while we're still on that bonus 30 minutes, brought to you by PrizePicks. So we will be able to react to news at that point. There's still a lot of plays in the later games where I think we'll have the chance to maneuver things around. So we should have enough lineup spots that we can take advantage one way or the other here. But just don't paint yourself in the corner too much if you're only making a few lineups tonight. looking to the T-Wolves here, back-to-back and 3-4 for them, Ryan. They beat Phoenix last night, 121-116. No McLaughlin. He's been out with the calf issue for about 5 weeks. I did mention that Edwards and Anderson, both questionable hip and non-COVID related illness, respectively. They did play last night. And then, so I think that's just a remnant of the injury report. But Taurean Prince is on the injury report after banging his ankle last night. What stands out to you for Minnesota? Anybody in this going against this tougher defense here?
I always have interest in Anthony Edwards just because I think he has 50-point upside. I know he's priced up to 9K. He's been a little banged up of late, but I like Anthony Edwards even on FanDuel at 8,400. And then I like getting to some Gobert. Gobert on FanDuel, I think, is a fine center option. He has 40-45 fantasy upside, especially if you can start picking up some blocks. He has been not blocking at the same level he was in Utah this season. So kind of an interesting situation how that's working out over there in Minnesota. But Edwards and Gobert and sub 7K D'Angelo Russell make a lot of sense. Everyone else, I'm not that interested in. I think they're big three, and it's well worth getting above the field on. That's really about it. I don't want to play slow-mo at 5,400. A lot of your forward value spots and power forward value spots are going to go to Indiana. As we got Indiana's starting lineup, Aaron Nesmith will be starting today. So that's how it's looking over there in Indiana. And Chris Duarte will be going to the bench. We expect Nembhard, Mathurin, Buddy Hield, Nesmith, and Isaiah Jackson as the starters, as they're going kind of small here. And they're going to be going pretty small against this Memphis team. So expect the pace to potentially go up and some fantasy points to be filtered that way. You can get above the field on all the starters. If for some reason, if some people thought McConnell was going to start, McConnell's going to have to be able to pay that off in sub 30 minutes of play. He has that ability, but less likely he can find a way to pay off that salary. But back to Minnesota, the big three, Edwards, Gobert, Russell. I prefer Edwards, then Gobert, then Russell in that specific order.
If Edwards were to be out, is there anyone who would stand out for you?
Yeah, we've seen the likes of Austin Rivers and Jalen Noel play some minutes. Expect some more additional minutes to slow-mo and obviously some usage to guys like McDaniels. Russell will look outstanding to me. I think Russell will become a solid option. And willing to get over the field on guys like Jalen Noel and Austin Rivers. But I take that back on Austin Rivers. There's no real need to go to Rivers because a lot of your sub 4K value is going to Indiana.
He's old? I guess that's not a reason to go to him. Okay. I was trying to find some positives there. There we go. Let's see. Ooh, all right. Well, we're down to our last two games of the night. Look at that. We've got plenty of time here. I've got one pending super chat, which I will get to. Let's see. You know what? I think that works now. So this is from John Bryant. He has a second super chat. This is DraftKings. He is, we're going to just comment on his players that he's built out a lineup with. He's got McConnell, Simmons, Hield, Jackson, Jared Allen, Doncic, Smith, and Van Vliet. So we did say it's okay to play both Smith and Jackson. I'm still okay with McConnell. I know for sure he's going to be in the one lineup I build on FanDuel or DraftKings, even coming up. Yahoo, sorry, not playing Showdown on DraftKings. I'm playing full 50 or 70 lineups, haven't decided yet on FanDuel, and just one lineup on Yahoo. But he will be in my Yahoo lineup. I do like him on both Yahoo and FanDuel. McConnell, that is, for the 3 points that you get for steals. I'm comfortable with him coming off the bench. Jared Allen, I think, is a reasonable option here. He is someone that didn't make my short list. I was looking at Evan Mobley, his teammate, for his rebound props earlier today. He was sitting at 7.5. So that was one I did like the over on. And I love Doncic. Van Vliet, well, he is my favorite player in the league. So I cannot say anything bad about him. It just gets a little tougher there in Toronto now that everybody's healthy. And then Simmons, we didn't really hit on that yet. He's going to be in the last game of the night. But what do you think about I said Simmons. Simons, it's even spelled Simons. I even think in my head, Simon Says. What do you think about Anthony Simons, Van Vliet, and Jared Allen? Those are the three we haven't really hit on, because Doncic is Doncic at this point, right? Can we say anything bad about him? No.
Yeah, Anthony Simons, I think 6,400, where you get the 3-point bonus on DraftKings. I like going to him. I like going to him on FanDuel at 6K as well. I think he makes for a solid option. And also, we got where Zaire Williams is going to start. Tough to go there as a value option, but I've always been very bullish on Zaire Williams' talent. At one point, he was the #1 high school recruit in the country before he went to Stanford, I believe. So, but they're really tough for a guy like him to get there, playing alongside with the likes of John Moran, Desmond Bain, and Triple J. So if you want to take long shot tournament options on Zaire Williams, you certainly can, but Indiana just sticks out much better than that. But Anthony Simons, I do like getting above the field on just around 10% ownership. He's one of those guys who can knock down 6, 7 3-pointers on a really, really good shooting night. When you get the 3-point bonus on DraftKings, I really like going to Anthony Simons. He has that upside within him. I think Dame Lillard certainly always has tournament winning upside. We know that. It's 9,300 over there on FanDuel, 9,300 on both sites. Looks better on FanDuel than he does on DraftKings, but another solid tournament option. That's really about it for this team. I know Nurkic has been playing better of late. The minutes have slowly been higher than the first quarter of the season, so he's another guy. But there's Embiid on the slate, and kind of just would rather try to find a way to get up to Embiid than play Nurkic in this situation. But everyone else, not too excited to go to, just because so many of our spots will, like your forward spots and center spots, might be going to Isaiah Jackson or Jalen Smith or even Ben Mathurin. It's just Indiana just grades out so much better. And when the guys in Indiana are projecting similar to a guy like Jeremy Grant, who's $7,000, it's really tough to fall on a guy like him tonight.
Let's stick with this. This is our last game of the night, but let's stick with the Dallas and Portland game. Then we'll circle back towards the Philadelphia and Utah here. So Dallas, obviously, we're going to be liking Doncic. He's just been putting up phenomenal numbers. As these teams play tomorrow, I would assume Doncic plays tonight. Lillard is I'm expecting him to play tonight as well. He has 50 fantasy points in 2 of his last 3, and he got 50 NBA points, 50 real points in his last game. It was Dame time. It most definitely was Dame time. Dallas still playing at a slower pace. That does take a little bit away from some of the other Portland players. They're many multi position talented guys. They're wings, in other words. It's not going to keep me from playing them, but it really doesn't give us anything more than secondary options aside from the backcourt, in my opinion. Kind of to echo what Ryan had said. Looking at the at Dallas and assuming Christian Wood is going to play tonight, what is your take on that? They're still without Dorian Finney-Smith, they're without Green, and Wood is the other questionable fella here. What do you got?
Luka. I mean, it's really, really difficult to look at other guys besides Luka. And when Luka soaks up so much of this usage, you can argue that Luka's $1,000 too cheap, the way he's been playing over the course of the month now, since he had that, I think it was a 60-point triple-double or something like that. So 12.5 on FanDuel. There's enough value to get Luka in. Well worth getting above the field. A guy like Doncic easily can be the highest scoring player on this slate by 20 or more points. He just has that upside. Christian Wood in a Portland spot. Tough for me to like him a lot. 8.5 and 8.3. I'd rather go to Tim Hardaway Jr. On 5,800 and 5,700. We get the 3-point bonus for him. But Dallas, pretty much the whole season has just been the Luka show. And we really don't get too much of these guys if they're not shorthanded. Reggie Bullock is a tournament option, if you really want to call him that. He's 3,300. Played well last game when he's knocking down threes, but even then seems a little too cute, too thin of a play. And I'm going to go back and sound like a broken record again. Indiana's on the slate with a lot much better value options. So, and those value options aid you in the direction of just jamming in Luka tonight. So I'm just going to look at Luka. kind of put him around some Indiana players. And I feel like it's just kind of like a lot of builds are going to look like that. And we just kind of find the low owned other stud options, combinations that players aren't going to get to tonight. So it makes things difficult because when value sticks out the way it does with Indiana, it makes Luka like a kind of a must have. You don't want to miss out on that upside he brings to the table.
All right. We do have Bogdanovic has been ruled out. Do you want to update any of your Atlanta thoughts?
With Bogdanovic out, expect some minutes to potentially. I think AJ Griffin is going to take up some of those minutes. Some extra minutes could go to maybe Aaron Holiday plays a little bit more minutes. AJ Griffin's going to soak up some of those minutes for sure. I think maybe an extended rotational run for guys like DeJounte and Trey. Maybe they get a couple extra minutes than usual. But I think
maybe
AJ
Hunter. It's kind of, with Bogey. It's kind of It's going to depend a lot on what Toronto does and how Atlanta decides to match. Would be my guess. Whether people slide up or down positions, and then that's where it's gonna kind of come out in the wash there.
Yeah, there's a chance that they kind of go small. I mean, we've seen Siakam at the 5 a lot, obviously with Toronto, right? Pretty much all season, and we might see less Okongwu minutes and more Collins minutes at the 5. So it's kind of a boost for all their kind of wing players and backcourt players because Bogey's so interchangeable in the backcourt and the front court. So some extra minutes for sure. AJ Griffin's going to play more minutes, but I can see some extra minutes going to a guy like DeJounte and Trey. So it can certainly pan out. This Atlanta team, I know Bogey comes off the bench. It kind of looks a little bit more appealing than it did about 5 minutes ago. So certainly get to some more Hawks than you first planned on doing so.
All right, let's hit we're circling back. Yes, we did kind of fast forward. That was my call to fast forward there to the final game of the night. Let's look at Philadelphia and Utah. Then James Magruder, we'll get to your super chat there. So Philadelphia plays tomorrow in Los Angeles. Tobias Harris popped up today on the injury report with the sore knee. I would expect him to probably be out. Georges Niang is popped up as well with a non-COVID related illness. Wouldn't shock me if he is out. On the Utah side, no Colin Sexton. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. Kelly Olynyk's going to be out for probably another week or two with an ankle issue. Rudy Gay dealing with a sore back. So that's a thing in and of itself. And then Lauri Markkanen, the finisher, ended up there with a hip issue. This is a back-to-back for Utah. They did win last night at home against Orlando, 112-108. How awesome is Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey going to look against this nominal defense, shall we say? Am I being too generous by saying nominal defense of the Jazz without Tobias Harris?
Yeah, no, I definitely.
And again, Harris still questionable. I don't think he's going to play with the game.
Keep an eye on that situation with Philly, right? Front end and back to back. If they go out well ahead, maybe their minutes get shortened a little bit. This Philly team lost to OKC. OKC's been playing really well of late, and I was shocked when they lost that OKC team. But I think Philly, Embiid looks outstanding. Harden looks pretty solid himself as well. Low end tournament option. I really like getting to beat. And now if Harris is out, you can certainly play more Maxey at 6,500. He's already kind of in play. Sneaky tournament option with a lot of upside. 7,100 on FanDuel. You can certainly get to Embiid, Harden, and Maxey. Melton makes things a little difficult. 5,200 on FanDuel where he gets the steals bonus. Sure. Tough to get to Melton. But this Philly team, just so much of it's focused around Maxey, Embiid, and Harden. You kind of look at those three guys, try to get above the field on those three, and trying to move on. No need to really play anyone else on this Philly team. Everyone's priced too expensive. They don't garner that similar upside like the other value options do on the slate.
From the Utah side, do you have any read on Markkanen?
Do you have any read on Lauri Markkanen? Tonight, he was like a midday downgrade, right? He was put on the questionable today.
Yeah. When
I see those, I've been going to likely like they don't play. It has not worked out sometimes this season. Season's kind of weird. It's a Saturday. I feel like a lot of these players get Saturdays off. Maybe they
on a back-to-back. That's the key thing for me.
Yeah. So I don't think he's gonna play. And when he's not gonna play, I would usually say, oh, let's go to Kelly Olynyk, but Kelly Olynyk is also out. And last night we saw Nickeil Alexander-Walker get the start. Things are going to be a little thin for this Utah team. And I'm going to look to Jordan Clarkson to get as much as usage as he can if he doesn't want to square up with anybody. I think Jordan Clarkson is someone you can get above the field to at 7K and 6,900 on DraftKings. He's certainly on the table. I believe Colin Sexton's been out. Mike Conley didn't play last night. Conley's kind of tough to get to at that price tag. He just didn't have that same upside like he once did. Jared Vanderbilt should be able to handle as many minutes as he can at 5,300. I expect more Walker Kessler minutes, who becomes an intriguing value option at the center spot. If you don't want to spend up, it opens up a lot in the front court. We might even see the likes of obviously Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Malik Beasley get some more minutes and usage for sure. And in the time has passed, Simone Fontecchio was in the rotation. I do think he'll play some minutes for sure if Markkanen is out, because Rudy Gay is also out. So that will certainly open up some wing minutes that Gay was only playing so many handful of minutes. So expect more minutes for Alexander Walker, Fontecchio, even Taylor Horton Tucker, Oche. I don't even know how to say the guy out of Kansas' last name. Abaji's last name. Abaji, I think is the way to say it. So lots and lots of usage should open up with no Markkanen, and Clarkson should lead the way. Expect more minutes for Walker Kessler. If Kessler someone's going to play 30 plus minutes, you're going to like him quite a bit tonight.
All righty, we've got 8 minutes till lock, but not to fear, we are going to be on for an extra 30 minutes. Ryan, we do have one super chat here, and then I'll let you turn towards your lineups. James Magruder would like a little walk through DK. He's looking at single entry. You want to throw out one of your best plays at each position for him.
DraftKings single entry.
Yes, please.
Let me take a look. And he's just asking for best plays. I expect the likes of Isaiah Jackson to fall in there for sure. I think he's a solid 3K option tonight. I think you can look at Ben Mathurin at 4,900. And then I like playing Jason Tatum at 10-6. I really do. I think he sticks out to me. If you can find a way to jam in Tatum, I think that looks like a solid place to go to. Keep an eye on that Lauri Markkanen news. I think the Markkanen news is more important than the Mitchell news, because it'll make some lower owned guys than more viable. Like guys like Clarkson, Walker Kessler should get more minutes and more usage for sure. So keep an eye on that Utah news, and we're also waiting on the Donovan Mitchell news as well. So the favorite DraftKings plays at 6:53 Eastern could look a lot different at like 7:03 p.m. Eastern if we get that news. So keep an eye on that news for sure. But definitely Jackson and Mathurin stick out as two starting points.
All right. All valid points here. How are you doing on your lineups?
I had to unfortunately withdraw. I couldn't handle the mix and match, and I just wanted to play a little safe towards the start of the slate instead of
no, that makes sense, and that's a good reminder for folks that, you know, when we're doing these shows and you see us in mad scrambles, you know, I'm doing it with a couple $100 on the line. These guys are doing it with a whole lot more, and it tends to add a degree of difficulty that is sometimes makes it a little bit tricky to maintain sanity. So that's no shame in that, Ryan, whatsoever. I'm throwing together my last few minutes. We're 5 minutes out from lock. You guys do not yet have placeholder lineups in there. I suggest doing it. I'm getting a boatload of Zaire Williams on FanDuel, 3,900. We're projecting him for just shy of 19 points. That terrifies me slightly. Would you play him in half your lineups tonight? You mentioned
no, I don't think so. I think you want to give yourself a chance for some flexibility with Markkanen and Mitchell being questionable. Donovan Mitchell will play. That's the news right now. So Mitchell being in, kind of ruins the potential Levert and Darius Garland news that just came out right now. So Donovan Mitchell will play tonight. I think I would give yourself some flexibility with the marketing situation.
Yeah, that I think is a good idea here. So I'll do my second half of my run. I'm tamping down Al Horford. Kevin Love was popping up a lot. I'm accepting all of our friends in the pit. We're all honorary Pacer fans the last two nights. I guess I know what game I'll be watching tonight because that's just the way it goes. Let me download these and then upload them. Malakar says he's playing me in one of the 12 top what are they FanDuel, the 100-man leagues on FanDuel. Those are probably my favorite contest. I like playing in smaller fields. You have them when you get a 1% or 1% or 99th percentile lineup, you actually have a chance of getting paid out for it. When you get a 99.9 percentile lineup in these gigantic contests, you may or may not realize your value if you finish outside of the top two. So that's something that Terry and I we talked about smart ways of approaching DFS contest selection, utilizing bonus plans, rakebacks, things of that nature last night, just because the way things are. I mean, everybody gets better and better every year in DFS, and everybody say, oh, the fish and paying the rake and all of that. DFS has been around for 12 years now. Right. So it's not like it's anything new. People are getting every time there's an exploitable edge to be found, then, it's not too long before the rest of the people catch up on it. Stacking, was way back in the day. Nobody thought about that. Hell, we didn't even have starting lineup pages back then, let alone NBA news. But now it's, late swap. There's a variety of ways of doing it, but there's also ways to combat this. And we're going to talk about PrizePicks in just a second here. They're keeping us on for an extra 30 minutes. We're going to go into great detail about how you can play over there. The nice thing is, you don't have to worry about the 7 o'clock lock. Their games lock at tip off of the various games. Is AJ Griffin an okay value play? We got a couple of super chats coming in here.
AJ Griffin, okay value play. Let me take a look.
And then while you're doing that, Harden Morant, last man in single entry. I would say Harden.
I will go Morant. I think AJ Griffin. No, I don't think he's necessary as a value play. I'll try to find some extra dollars, the extra 900 to get to Mathurin. If you don't have Mathurin in your lineup, I'd get to Nemhard. So no, I don't think you need to play AJ Griffin tonight.
All right, I'm going 45% Luka. I feel light. That's where we are with 2 minutes left. I'll live with it. All righty, so that has us about a minute away from lock. Let's do, for those of us that are Seahawk fans, let's do a little quick peek over here and see when we can give up all hope. Yep. Ooh. It went from 17-13 to 17-16. It's 31-17. I guess the cream's rising to the top right now, Ryan. It was a fun postseason run while it lasted. I haven't got to see a single play yet, but there we go. Hat tip to Seattle, playing frisky. Boy, after the trade of Russell Wilson, I was expecting 4 or 5 wins being the high water mark. The fact that they beat him and they've made the playoffs. I don't hate Russell Wilson at all. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He's a great quarterback there for the Seahawks, but he kind of prima donna'd. He prima donna'd on his way out. Not that quarterbacks don't do that, right? That's their default position because for the love of Pete, they're the quarterback in the NFL. Of course, they're going to be that way. How else would they serve? Get to the highest, loftiest expectations that are bestowed upon them? But still, come on, we like to pick on people.
Yeah, no, I was a big Russell Wilson fan, especially those first couple years. I think it was like 2013 and like up until like obviously they won. I don't know. I think he just ran his course there. I do think he'll have an exceptional bounce back season. It can't go as bad as it did this season, like it did in Denver. I mean,
bad luck. It was a new coach. There were injuries to so many skill position players. They were on their 5th string running back at one point. It's going to change, but little shading for just a little bit right here. And thank you for that first round draft pick. Now, Pete Carroll, pick somebody good. Him and John Schneider need to pick somebody good. You know who needs to pick somebody good? We do over on PrizePicks. I could soften the blow for everybody, though. From the jump, if you go to PrizePicks through the link below us here in the YouTube chat, they will give you a deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. You put in 10, they give you 10. You put in 20, they give you 20. You put in 100, they give you 100. You put in 200, they give you 100 because it's a $100 deposit match. But you also get 1 free month of Stokastic Platinum. So that's like a $200 deal. Put in $100, basically get 200 in value. Their $100 comes out first into your wagers. Wagers? What do you mean wagers? I can't. I'm in an illegal state. Sports wagering's not legal here. But PrizePicks probably is because they put a fantasy twist on everything. So you're building out player prop cards, right? These are dynamic props. You're not going against mass multi-entry. You're not playing against Adam and Alex. Well, they're probably playing on the sites, but we're not having to play against them. We're going against the lines that are posted by PrizePicks. You can build out cards with 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 questions. You go 5 for 5 on a flex play. If you get all 5 right, you get 10x. If you get 4 right, you get to double your money. You get 3 right, you get 60% of your money back. You go 6 for 6. I haven't hit one yet, but those pay out 25 to 1. So $5 turns into $125. A lot of fun. They also have Flex Fridays over there. Do a variety of fun things with their flex bets. They'll either take their five by contests and they'll make them 15x for the day. Today they let you, or last Friday, yesterday. Let me just say yesterday, it'd be easier. You had 3 hours to put in a flex card, and if you went 5 out of 5 on it, it paid out 30x. Oh. So the Friday before, 2 Fridays before, they did $20 back. So you were insured up to $20. So it's a lot of fun over there. They do have a Discord where they talk about a lot of their little promotions. Tuesdays, they do Taco Tuesdays. Essentially throughout the day, they're going to take about 4 or 5 player props throughout the day and put a discount on them, right? So like, for instance, Steph Curry, if he's projected for 30.5 points, NBA points, they would post him at 25.5, and you could put up to $20 or $25 on that with that prop into your various cards, and they try to give you little gimmies here. Do they work? They try to make it so they do, but they usually let their users vote on 1 or 2 of those each day. So there's a lot of fun over there at PrizePicks. So we'll talk about them because we also have free. That's everybody's favorite word, Ryan. Free. The PrizePicks prop tool here. So I'm going to drop that link into the YouTube chat, but you can get to that by going to stokastic.com. Up at the top bar, hover over NBA, scroll down the first drop down to free NBA. Scroll down to the NBA player props and betting, and then you'll see the free PrizePicks prop tool. Don't get confused by Bet Pro. We'll talk about that in a second because that's a lot of fun. But that's the premium feature. It does have PrizePicks on there, but for those of you that just want to see the straight PrizePicks stuff, you can use that other link. So let's look at a few of our options here, Ryan, and let's see what we like. So I am going to go to, why don't I just copy and paste the link I just put into chat for everybody else rather than going back to it. Look at that technology. I was going to say Emac 1, technology 0. No, technology's got me by about 200.
Unfortunate news. Debo Samuel just had a house call. As Brock Purdy is putting up Pat Mahomes numbers. It's a wrap over there in the Bay.
That was 74-yard touchdown, 66 yards after the catch. That makes me want to yak. See what I did there? See what I did exactly there? To make it funny. Okay.
It's been impressive to see this Brock Purdy run.
That's terrible.
Brock Purdy, the next Tom Brady, or the next Joe Montana?
I don't know. I think he's a lot closer to being irrelevant than one of those two guys. But
hey, that's Mr. Irrelevant to you. Put some respect on that name, Ryan.
I don't know. He's been balling out. I can't hate against that. The San Francisco has a good D. We'll see, though. I mean, tough to see Brock Purdy be able to put up in a pace-up matchup against if he sees Allen or Mahomes on the other side, let alone like Jalen Hurts. in the NFC. I don't know. He's been impressive.
136 quarterback rating, 17 to 28, 324, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack. Alrighty, so for those of you over on the PrizePicks page, Evan Mobley is one of the picks I like. Turns out that's actually our second best recommendation on PrizePicks. They have a prop line of 8. I'll explain what happens to ties here in just a second, but they have a prop line of 8. We have them projected for 9 points. I got them on the betting market earlier today at 7.5. But why would I want to pick Evan Mobley? Well, in addition to him being our second best pick there, I did a little research on him this morning before we had these posted. And I said, Mobley looks like a strong option tonight with the 7.5 total for his rebound prop against the Timberwolves in Minnesota. Mobley averaging 8.8 rebounds per game, slightly ahead of last year's pace. 13.1 per 36. Did you know, Ryan, in 4 of his last 5, he has played at least 31.8 minutes. This feels pretty good tonight. This feels pretty good. Do you know who his brother is?
Yeah, Isaiah Mobley, right? He's on his same team.
Indeed. I did not know that today until I started looking at his basketball reference page. So, hey, learned something new. There was my trivia I learned for the day. Somehow I did not connect that. Wonder if Singer Mobley works in there somewhere, bringing this back to Super Wild Card Weekend. But that's kind of the fun that we have there with PrizePicks. So producer Ty, can you share PrizePicks on the screen? Is that a yes? Okay, so what we can do here is I'm just going to show, or I will talk through it, and Tyler can do a little navigating for us. So across the top, you see all the different sports that they have here: NBA, NHL, NBA first half, NFL first half. They'll post NFL second half. You can do single game contests. The only rules here are you got to pick players from 2 different teams, and you can't use the same player twice in the same card. Unless they're a touchdown combination, then you can still pick one of the players, or in MLB, if it's a home run combo, or a duo or a trio, you can pick one of those players as a standalone. But those are essentially the only rules. One thing that they rolled out today, let me call up this is hot off the press. They hadn't even given us this news, but I get notifications here from PrizePicks, so this is important. So they have what they call the NFL playoff reboots. So they want you to have fun at PrizePicks, right? This isn't like Cincinnati and Buffalo didn't play all their games, we're not going to pay out the win totals, even though they got more BS that some sports books are doing. But I'm going to drop the link into chat here so you guys can see this. This is how you get the PrizePick reboots. So the rule is, let's see, how does it
Larry
work?
Markkinen is out.
Okay.
If you can jam some Utah players right now, that being Clarkson, Walker Kessler.
So Tyler, if you go to the search bar, click on NBA, and in the search bar, if you just type Jazz, it will bring up all the Utah players. So just show everybody how slick that is. So then let's run through here. I'm going to take Clarkson over. I'm going on his 32.5. I'm going to take Mike Conley over on his 25.5. That's really all we have. I said I liked Mobley. I'm going to take his over on the rebounds. Boom. I'm going to hit more on all of those. That gives me a power play. I prefer the power plays on 3X. So I'm going to put $5 in. That'll get me a 5 times play. Boom. That's as easy as it goes. Just like that. I don't know what Tyler was showing on the screen, but I now have a card there. So sometimes you want to look for those. Those weren't screaming values, but they were pretty damn good. So these are dynamic lines. They'll move those out. If something happens, they'll pull them, and then they'll repost them. The other thing that's nice is like the Memphis game, just about to go to lock here. So it's not even at lock at the regular DFS time. They wait till tip off of the games. So you can get a jump on this. You can scramble, finish up your DFS stuff. And then if you want to get in on some of the early games over there, you can easily do that on PrizePicks. Again, if you go through the link below us here in the YouTube description, you will get 30 free days of Stokastic Premium and also a deposit match up to $100. Those $100, that comes out of your account first into these. Again, PrizePicks wants us to have some fun. So those are some of the neat things that they have. But back to their reboots thing. So on the reboots, essentially, if you have picked an over on a player and they get hurt in the first half of Wild Card Weekend, and do not set foot on the field in the second half, they will pull that bet out of your card, which is nice. They will then move you down to whatever the next payout structure is for however many questions you have in your card. And if you have a 2-question card, it's going to invalidate it, but you'll get your money back, right? But the rule is, again, they have to still be, if you've picked the over, if you've picked the under, they're honoring it. Okay. So this is just if you're, oh man, my guy got hurt. This is no fun. I hate this. The NFL is rigged. Like everybody on Twitter likes to say, you get a second chance here. You get a reboot. The other thing that they do is if they will place, they will have ties. Like I did the Evan Mobley rebounds at 8. If he gets 8, my 3-player card turns into a 2-player card. He'll just be grayed out, and then I continue on my merry way. Most of the sports books, you lose, right? Because it's a tie. Now that's why they do hooks and stuff, so there won't be ties. The other thing that happens, if your player never sets foot on the field, the diamond, the court, they gray them out. If they don't play, they just gray them out. They don't invalidate your whole card. Again, PrizePicks wants you to have fun. So it's a lot of fun over there. It's a great site. I've enjoyed it. They do, occasionally they'll do little, what do they call it? I forget their name for it, but they'll do like little missions. So they'll set up something like during the 12 days of Christmas, where if you did X, Y, Z on the different days, you would get bonus cash, or you'd get a chance to win $500. So they'd give you a $20 card for free, and you could bet 6x on it and get 500, right? So I'm not doing the math correctly, but you get the point, right? They're there for us to have fun. So it's a good time over there. Check it out. That is PrizePicks. All right, so back to, since we got 15 minutes here, we'll talk about Bet Pro in a second, but back to the Markkanen being out. You want to do a little more of a breakdown. Does that temper any enthusiasm there for Embiid or Harden? It kind of, to me, feels like this would be a good night for Harris to be out. These other fellas take care of business here, save a little something up in the fourth quarter, go to the bench, and take on the Lakers tomorrow. That's how I'm scripting this one out. But this is a team, as you mentioned, that just lost to the Thunder. And the Eastern Conference, pretty tough this year. Tough.
It's pretty jam-packed. So, it's definitely very jam-packed, where I certainly like playing Embiid for sure. I think Embiid can put up 50-plus fantasy points in 3 quarters a play, or one less rotation than usual against this Utah team. I mean, it's the Utah side of things is more appealing. Getting to Kessler, getting to Clarkson, Vanderbilt, even Malik Beasley. Those are the 4 guys who I prefer to getting to the most. Definitely looks like an avenue where they can pay off that salary, as a lot of usage should open up. And minutes for Walker Kessler is what intrigues me the most there. Vanderbilt can rebound really well. Not that much of an offensive threat at times, but those marketed minutes should be taken up by him mainly, because they don't have a true backup 4. Markkanen's been playing a lot of 4, so because there's no Olynyk there, so there's a lot of minutes just in usage available when a guy like Markkanen is going to be out. It's Clarkson and Kessler in their own tier of interest, and then followed by Vanderbilt and Beasley.
All right. Did you know that there was an Alec Kessler, a Kessler Edwards, a Bob Kessler, and a Chad Kessler that have all played in the NBA, in addition to Walker Kessler?
The Kessler Edwards, I know. I think he's still in the NBA for the Nets.
Well, Chad and Alex may not have actually played, but they're the uncle and dad. Oh, no, they did. They did play for Miami. Alec Kessler did. I thought I recognized that name. All right, so I wanted to see Walker Kessler's per 36 fouls, because, that could be the limiting factor here. Surprisingly not bad, 4.4. Of course, Joel Embiid can kind of make anybody get fouls. But
you're just hoping that Kessler can contain himself in terms of keeping his hands to himself. Except shot rate for Walker Kessler. He blocks a ton of shots. So
Embiid has been known to get a shot blocked from time to time. Just saying. All righty, what do we got here? Bet Pro. That's our final little discussion point of the night. This one's near and dear to Ryan's heart because he's been working on this one. But we've got, let me get back up to my read here. Too many. Did I not copy the right one in? There it is. So Bet Pro is a great. I'm going to drop this in here for you. Now, this is a premium feature, but you do get a chance to get 5 days free. You can sign up through the link below us here in the YouTube description. But Bet Pro is an easy dashboard that allows you to look at all of the main wagering sites. We give you the best bets. That helps you look at everything that's out there, but you can dive in on DraftKings, FanDuel, PointsBet, BetMGM, Caesars, No House Advantage, and PrizePicks. Those still you can get on the free page, right? So if you come here, you may or may not have access to them. If you've got BetPro, you could get them right here, but you have to go get those on the free pages. But we've show you what is a good expected value. That means your potential ROI. We show you what is a good bet, the S-bet percentage. That's utilizing the Kelly criterion that tells you how much of your bankroll you should probably put on this. So you'll hear people talking about, oh, this many units or whatever. What they're trying to say, other than sounding pretentious as hell, which, wait, they are pretentious as hell. Looking at you, Eton. Looking at you. But it's a universal way to say, how confident do you feel in said wager? Right. Well, all wagers are not created equal because you got to pay the vig or the juice on them. So if you got a bet that looks like a slam dunk and it's minus 200 and it doesn't happen, you're out. And if you win, you only get about 50% of your money returned or on top of your regular bet. That's not a lot, right? So this tells you where you can right size some of your bets. So that calculation is all done for you. But it's math, and we're doing the heavy lifting. So this is behind the scenes. Steve Buzzard and Sean Zahn and 1-800-EDDIE and Cast of Thousands have been working on this. So this is an excellent offering here for basketball. So it's a pretty slick tool. Adam does some videos for it most every day. So you want to check out some of his videos. He goes into a much deeper explanation of how these different things work. But this is our new feature. It's a 7-day free trial. Sorry, I said 5. It's a 7-day free trial, but you can access that via our description here of the YouTube video. Go through that link and check it out. It's pretty cool. From that. And then we won't cover it because it's an NFL show, but they have updated the lineup generator showdown style for the NFL playoff games. You can now choose game scripts. You can't customize your exact game script just yet, but they were showing us the demo the other day. So like the example was, and I'm going from memory here, but it would be like the Seahawk implied point expected outcome of the game was like 26-12 or whatever it was today. So you could choose, 49ers score an extra touchdown, both teams score an extra touchdown, both teams score a touchdown less. Why are we moving these things around by touchdown? Well, it's an event-based sport, right? You got to bracket this stuff out because you have all sorts of range of outcomes. But what it does is it generates plus EV lineups for you. You can choose things to be a little more chalky. Guess what? They're not going to be so chalky if you're picking one of these extreme outcomes, but you can find a variety of things there. So that's a lot of fun too. That comes with all of the Stokastic premium subscriptions for your various sports. Currently, it's just available for NFL and NBA. Any comments there you want to add in on Bet Pro? Does that come with the Discord or is that a different offering?
Now, Insider Access is a different offering than NBA Bet Pro, but we do have a lot of NBA Bet Pro talk into the betting basketball channel in the Discord. So if you guys are looking to just, if you sign up for NBA Bet Pro, go to stokastic.com/Discord and you'll be able to get access to the betting basketball channel. And NBA Bet Pro has been very, very fruitful for me. I've been able to
move out of your parents' basement into an amazing house or amazing pad, the bachelor pad.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm not gonna lie, it has been very nice. And shout out to Sean Zahn. And not only Sean Zahn, we have another excellent data guy in B. Cali Core, aka Lee, who's been phenomenal in getting all these put together. Night in and night out, NBA Bet Pro has been crushing and it really been great returns for me so far. And I've enjoyed it. I didn't think I'd enjoy betting so much, but hey, there's nothing better than winning, and winning solves all sorts of worries. And NBA Bet Pro certainly has done that. And there's some exciting bets across the board right now where you should take advantage of it. If you have any questions, I mean, you go in that Discord and Sean Zahn is literally there ASAP answering your questions. It's kind of awesome to get that the real mind who built this out. And a lot of back testing has shown if you follow the proper methods, you could be a very profitable NBA player prop better for a long period of time. And that's why we do this, right? We try to make money over and over again and put us in the best spot to be successful. And NBA Bet Pro just does that exactly. So definitely well worth it. And I honestly think it's a little too cheap, in my opinion. So might as well join in on the fun while you can.
Yeah, $15.99 for the week. This is $2 a day for those of you that are doing sports wagering. Even if you're doing it kind of on a smaller scale, like I have been, I usually do $5 and $10 bets, and I like to make several of them. And I like to when I get into the more advanced bets, when I'm using boosters or other accoutrements that will give me a little bit of an edge, then I'll look at doing $50 and $100 wagers. But I better be getting a little something extra to cushion the risk when I go up to those routes. But if you're making $20, $30, $40, $50 in wagers a day, then something like this, well worth it. Right. It helps solve a lot of your it's just a time saver. You just pay $2 in a day and somebody tells you, hey, here are the best eight back. There's all of them are listed, but the top 8 or so are usually pretty good.
And you also get access to our PrizePicks tool as well. If you don't have PrizePicks, if you have PrizePicks in your state, you can also use the PrizePicks tool in the Bet Pro offering as well. So definitely take advantage of this. And it's a very, very handy tool to really elevate your betting bankroll or your overall DFS betting bankroll. It's been pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. And it leverages all the Stokastic NBA projections in a player prop fashion. They kind of go hand in hand. And this just elevates your potential EV over and over again. So it's an awesome, awesome tool. I've been very impressed by it. Been lucky enough to be having access to this for some time, and it's been amazing.
Absolutely. I'm going to drop the link directly to the PrizePicks one. This is one everybody gets for free there. Someone was asking, who are your 2 biggest locks? Well, these are it's like sports wagering here, right? So it's not like you're not going to see many things that are over 70%. Now, you can the best way to do PrizePicks these days is to look at the PRA, that's points, rebounds, and assists. Sometimes those can be a little bit more advantageous. Fantasy points. Now for NBA, they use FanDuel scoring. So it's 3 points for blocks and steals and -1 for turnovers. You need to know that. For NFL, it's DraftKings, meaning it's full PPR, no yardage bonuses. So traditional PPR, but what the hell's traditional PPR? How many of us play season long? Well, we all do, but it's DraftKings scoring, but no bonuses for NFL. It's important to know, y'all. And their NBA, or probably their NHL, is a blend. So I just have a little Excel formula I just copy in when I want to do some of the NHL wagers. But the NHL wagers, you're going to want to look at shots on goal. It's not fun to take unders, but those are the ones that tend to pay out better for NHL. You want to play on the overs. Those are, and the unders as well. If you have Stokastic Premium, you can get Matt Gajewski's actual stat line projections for basketball and, of course, college football that just wrapped up with the national championship. Those lines are a little bit softer. Those are softer when they're released early. They tighten these things up, right? Like Lindquist does is Lindy's leans, likes, and locks every night. He chimes in Discord when he likes some of these picks, as does Greg. We start, putting stuff on them. They'll up them, right? Or if we're taking unders, they'll decrease them, right? And you can see it. It's not quite in real time, but they're monitoring these things, right? They're asleep at the switch, but not too often. But that's why we're there to help each other out and point when we can jump on some fun stuff here over at PrizePicks there. All righty, let's see. What I think we've sold a bunch of stuff. We've done PrizePicks. Oh, they've adjusted it now. So it used to say, oh, this is kind of fun. It used to just say, oh, some of your picks have changed, or the lines. Now it's telling me exactly which ones moved. So the Mike Conley fantasy score, because once I submitted my card, they've got it set up now so you can say reuse, right? So you can quickly kind of do your own round robins. You don't have to keep reloading your cards. That's a lot of fun. But it just said the Mike Conley fantasy score went up from 25.5 to 26.5. Jordan Clarkson went up from 32.5 to 34.5. So we got a little cookie in our favor, as one of our friends likes to say.
Yeah, it comes down to speed. Speed is a whole nother advantage, not just in betting, but like these player prop pick'em sites, like PrizePicks. Certainly speed is to your well advantage to be sustainable over the long haul. And even in DFS, we know like late news, if you get that at the 55-minute mark and you only have 5 minutes to re-swap everything, it puts you, if you have a process in play, it will definitely benefit you over the long haul. It certainly has helped me out, and kind of like just like being able to do this night in and night out, you kind of put yourself in a position to be profitable. And we just proved it there with the whole Utah thing. All those decisions led to positive EV decisions right off the bat in a very quick manner, where hopefully Emac's card is successful tonight. I definitely think there's a really good chance that he will be.
And we will see. And again, I know you guys kind of think it's funny when we say this, but this is important. So again, if any of you, remember, legal age for wagering / DFS in most states is 21 and over. But if you're a little in over your head, somebody has a gambling issue, then just call or text 1-800-GAMBLER, and they have the services that can help you. Right? This is. A lot of states have put in the request that if we're talking about this stuff in any variety, they want us to mention that. So we are honoring that. But it's important, right? This should be fun. No mortgages on this, no pink slips, no paychecks. Ryan's trying to decide if he's swiping left or right on this next one here, because the show's about over and he's got a whole parade of ladies that are going to come cruising through here.
No, I'm just seeing this final Seattle score. Did Seattle find a way to score here?
41 to 17.
Fourth and goal on the San Francisco 11. I don't.
My plus 9.5 did not work. Sorry, Seahawks.
Yeah, that is unlikely at this point. You would need two-point conversions, 2 touchdowns, and an onside kick in between that.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, that's all that matters. As long as you have a chance, that's all that matters.
All right.
Do I believe Siakam could be the highest scoring guy on tonight? If you were to play the slate 100 times, I think Siakam's the highest scoring player. 4 times.
5? 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think when it's tough, when Luka and Tatum
Embiid
and
Harden
and Morant,
and Lillard.
Yeah. He certainly has a chance. He can do it.
How about Sabonis last night?
What happened there? I saw a lot of people.
I don't know. I went to bed, but I woke up with like a 15 triple double. He was above those in all categories. I didn't see what his final line was, but that
was So I was in the minority thinking that the Sacramento Kings got a pretty fair trade out of it for the Halliburton and Hield for Sabonis. And everyone was like, oh my God, they gave up Halliburton. I really liked the trade for Sabonis. And I think Sacramento definitely, not obviously a contender, but just to get into the playoffs is such a big deal for a small market team. I think it just gives them some momentum. And I think they have this whole light the beam movement going on there. So the Kings team is fun to watch. I like the Bucks and Malik Monk being reunited again, a la their Kentucky days. The Sacramento Kings team could pull off a sneaky upset. You never know. Unlikely, but I've been rooting for these Kings.
All righty. Well, you know what we got coming in tomorrow? Well, you know what we got coming tonight? We still have NFL. So I'm going to drop the link to the free NFL Showdown article. Of course, we had shows 2 hours on already that broke down all of the NFL action here, so you guys can check out the article that's geared for the final game tonight. And then we're starting it all over again tomorrow. Even though there are just 3 games, there are gigantic contests. There is wagering opportunities. There are PrizePicks opportunities. And don't forget, they've got that new reboot feature for Super Wild Card Weekend. But starting off tomorrow at 9:30, we've got NFL content leading up to the 1 p.m. kickoff. And then at 5 o'clock, you're going to get the NBA live before lock, because, of course, the association says, we got to keep playing here, too, because we got to get 82 games in so our players can get paid. We will see. We do not know yet. I don't think we know yet if the slate is going to start at 6 or at 7. So it'll either be a 4-gamer or a 5-gamer. God love FanDuel if you do something different than the other sites. So we'll see what happens there. But with that, we're going to get on out of here. You can follow Ryan on Twitter, see what his adventures lead him tonight at Rynpak on the Twitter. I am at Emac DFS. And of course, it is Stokastic_. I need to go get some dinner. I'm feeling a little peckish here. I need some food. With that, gamers, good luck.